What's up, guys, gals, everything in between? Josh here, and today we're going to be talking a bit about Anthem. So I had a chance to play in both the VIP demo, and I've played a lot of the open beta today, which I'm happy to say is running a lot smoother. I've had a couple of weird little problems and maybe some connection problems, not, connecting to the server or anything, but just some weird lag, but I occasionally get that kind of stuff with the Wi-Fi in my new place, so I'm sort of chalking it up to that. I don't know if it's necessarily the EA servers or what have you. When I first played the VIP demo, I ran into basically every problem that everyone else was running into. I pretty much couldn't get in day one until about past midnight, and even then, the game just ran awful. It was chugging and unresponsive, and I wasn't having a great time. I logged in the next day and it had stabilized a bit, and I was able to get better performance out of my base PlayStation 4 and play it for a little bit more there. I'm happy to say that the open beta does feel a lot more stable, but it still has a couple of responsiveness issues on the base PlayStation 4. The footage you're seeing on this was all captured on my PlayStation 4 Pro, which I'm happy to say the game actually runs a little bit better on the PlayStation 4 Pro. The menus feel way more responsive, and the gameplay doesn't chug as much. You will be fine if you're playing on a normal PlayStation 4. It's not terrible, but I definitely noticed that at times when a lot of stuff would go on, it would kind of struggle to keep up occasionally, but for the most part, it runs pretty good on PlayStation 4 now, and it runs even better on PlayStation 4 Pro. I haven't had a chance to try the PC build, but I had heard that there were some optimization issues there. Other than that, most of the problems that people ran into in the VIP demo are pretty much absent here in the open beta demo, whatever you want to call it. I haven't had any infinite loading screens. I haven't had any other issues. I will say that the game has crashed every so often while running the Stronghold, which is basically like Anthem's version of strikes or incursions from Division. I've had it crash on me about twice today, which isn't a huge deal because you can just boot the game back up and re-enter your instance. It doesn't mean that it's not annoying, but hopefully this issue is fixed in the release build, and obviously it's better than infinite loading screens, and it's better than some of the other issues that we were getting in the VIP demo, which, again, happy to say that most of those problems seem to have been fixed. Anyways, bugs, problems aside, how do I feel about the game? Well, I have actually a lot of positive things to say about it, and then just a couple of maybe nitpicky things. I don't know. I think the game is really fun. I think that the javelins all have pretty good variety. You're able to mix up and do interesting builds with all of them. Although I will say with the combo system in place, it does feel like they are trying to push you into certain builds, which maybe isn't as fun. But at least the builds that they do push you into are pretty fun, at least the ones that are available in the demo. I've had a chance to play with all 4 of the javelins, and I like them all for different reasons. I think, weirdly enough, the Ranger is the most boring one. And I understand that it's supposed to be kind of an all-rounder, and it's, you can kind of do a lot of things. I think its ultimate is really fun. I like shooting out all of the missiles. But when I jumped over to Colossus and used the giant rocket launcher, I immediately was screaming about how fun it was. And then I jumped over to Storm and used the giant explosions of elements and was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And then I played Interceptor and was like dancing around and knifing people and like just tearing through enemies. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then when you play with the Ranger, it just doesn't feel as great. I don't know what it is about it. It feels good when you hit a lot of stuff, but you don't necessarily have as much control, I feel like, as the other 3. So, take that for what it is, but it's weird because I figured that the Ranger was going to be my favorite, and now Ranger is my least favorite, and I can't decide among the other 3 which ones I like the most. The customization options are awesome. There's different helmets and arms and other things that you can deck yourself out with. You can change the different materials that are on your javelins. You can change all of the different colors, and there's different vinyls and stickers and all kinds of crazy stuff. It reminds me a lot of Warframe in how much control you have over your design. You might not have as much as someone who plays a lot of Warframe might expect, because that game is kind of bonkers with its customization. But in terms of other games, Anthem's is pretty extensive, and I'm actually happy about that. The one thing is that the character that you are outside of the suit, at least in the demo, you do not get to customize them. You pretty much get to pick male voice or female voice, and you only ever see your hands, really. You don't ever see a face or anything else like that. Everything else is pretty much your suit. When you're in Fort Tarsis, you are in first person, and I think this is a weird change. They kind of tried to do the Destiny thing, where when you're out playing the game Destiny and you're doing things, you are in first person, and then when you come back to the tower or another social space, you enter third person. But it just feels weird in Anthem. Like, it feels weird going in the reverse. I don't know, maybe it's just because I've played so much Destiny in the past. I'm not 100% sure why that is. I did notice that the game kind of, not chugs, but has some frame rate issues in Fort Tarsis, which I find very strange, because when you're outside Fort Tarsis, flying around in this giant open world at breakneck speeds in your javelin, everything seems to be fine. But then you enter Fort Tarsis and you are walking really slowly, and for some reason there's screen tearing and other weird issues. I don't know if that's just a demo problem and it's gotten fixed, but it seems weird to me that the game would chug a little in the area where the game is not asking much of the hardware, right? You're just kind of in an area slowly walking. It should be able to handle it, but then you go to this other place, this other area in the game, and you are just flying through stuff and everything's fine. The frame rate's fine. You're shooting missiles and there's like thousands of enemies and it's totally cool. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. We did get a little bit of story content in the demo as well. It is pretty much a side story. I don't actually have footage of the story missions, and I thought about going to get footage of it, but then I figured that people might not want to be spoiled, so the footage running right now is actually of just some random side conversations that you can have. Obviously, the choices are limited compared to something like Mass Effect or another RPG. You pretty much only get one or two choices, and it's not really clear what impact the choices really have on the world. I'm guessing that they mostly just impact your relationship with other characters. But I'm wondering what having the BioWare relationship narrative sort of stuff really adds to Anthem. I know that there's flirting, but there's not really a romance system, and your character is sort of a vehicle, even though they have a voice. But I don't know, it's gonna be really interesting. I think the world of Anthem is really cool, and the voice acting is really good. The music is also really good, and the story seems fine, but I don't know. I'm really curious to see how it shakes out, but I am cautiously optimistic is what I'll say. All in all, I actually am enjoying the game a lot more than I thought that I was going to. Not to say that I thought I would dislike it. I want every game to be good, but I just didn't really know what to expect. We didn't really know going in what to expect from this game. We didn't really know how it worked. If you're curious about how it works, you have Fort Tarsis, which is where you do all of your story stuff. Think of it as the Normandy in Mass Effect, but it's a small town with a bunch of people that you can talk to, vendors, and things like that. Then you get into your javelin suit. There's a map screen. You pick a mission. You queue up for that mission. I believe you can do all of these solo, but it match makes you automatically in the demo with other people. And you go. You do a story mission. You come back, and then you get your loot. You upgrade your stuff, and you bounce. You go do it again. And then you get some more story content. And if you're not into that loop, then I don't know if Anthem's really going to be for you. I don't know that this is going to have the, like, sprawling epic narrative of the decade in it. I don't know that you're going to get anything as crazy and as extensive as Mass Effect in this. I think you're going to get a pretty by-the-books sci-fi story. However, if you're really into the loop and the world seems interesting to you and you just like the idea of numbers going up and creating cool RPG builds and shooting stuff and slashing stuff and having a good time, I think you're going to really enjoy Anthem, and I would definitely say you should give the open beta a shot. That's going to do it for my thoughts on Anthem so far, based on my experience with both of the betas. Let me know in the comments how you are feeling about Anthem after playing either one of the demos, or both, or neither. Remember to like, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye, everybody. Love ya.